welcome into Southern Section this week. I'm Claudette Montana.
And I'm Connor Morissette. We're here at Brentwood School, where earlier on I had the chance to speak with Brentwood head football coach Jake Ford for this week's Coach's Corner segment. Before that, my colleague at SBLive, Lance Smith, joined the show for Ask the Expert. And we have some boys water polo highlights we're really excited to share as Miracosta took on Loyola earlier today.
I also caught up with Brentwood quarterback Boone Lourd. We'll have that interview for you later in the show. But first, here are some Week 5 high school football highlights courtesy of our friends over at Bally Sports.
The first one was 3 and out. He was looking at a 4th and 27. And play action. He throws it up into coverage. It is caught. Trying to fight his way into the end zone is Mikey Matthews. The ball comes out. He got over for a touchdown. Just like that, it's 13-0.
Just like that. No, those two guys have been doing that since middle school. Best friends. Mikey Matthews is a rugby player, Steve. So you got to hit him at the 5-yard line, but you see him up close, man. He is a grown man.
Tight on the right with Harrison Dawson. Daly off the right side. He's got the first down in the second level. Watch out. Breaks a tackle. Reaches for the end zone. And they're going to rule him down inside the 1-yard line. Explosive run.
Ball was just thrown, lobbed a little bit. And Kemp did a nice job of undercutting that and picking that off.
Week 4 or 5, right?
3rd and 10. They set up the screen. It gets picked off and intercepted. And this is going to be a pick 6. Joseph Mendez all the way. That's his 3rd touchdown of the season. He has 2 other in the jumbo package as a fullback. And how about turn?
Ryan Jones to the field. Broncos bring pressure. Going up top. Dawson behind coverage. That ball is complete. On the backside post again. Number 2. Jonah Dawson with his 2nd touchdown of the evening. And Rancho's in the end zone again.
High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play could be crushing.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
All right, last Friday, Connor covered Thousand Oaks' double overtime win over Newberry Park. And after the game, he caught up with Thousand Oaks head coach Evan Yabu to recap the team's incredible win. Connor, take it away.
Evan, a hell of a game. I mean, you guys were up 20-0 and then down 21-20. What was going through your mind when they came back, and how'd you overcome their comeback to win tonight?
I didn't overcome anything, you know what I mean? The kids all did, the players did. I feel that as the lead was shifting back and forth, I always knew that we were in a good position to still potentially finish the game, right? And when we went into deficit mode, it was about the middle of the 3rd quarter. So despite like major shifts in the like fan base, I definitely was thinking about the fact that we had a lot of time left to still score. I knew we were gonna need score, stops. There's so much ball left to be played, and again, like the players, man, look at those guys battle. They battled.
That final touchdown, what was going through your mind when you had the walk-off win? In that moment, what went through your head?
Joy, happiness, you know what I mean? Like one of the most electric environments I've ever been a part of. That was a magical moment that I always remember.
Is this the best win you've had at Thousand Oaks?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
It's time for another edition of Ask the Expert, and this week I'm joined with my colleague at SBLive, Lance Smith. Lance covers high school football across the whole state, although today, Lance, will just be talking about Southern Section football. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. So the first question I have for you, what's been the best football game you've covered so far this year and why?
That's going to have to be the Long Beach Poly win over Mission Viejo 35-30. Another contender, even closer game, possibly one with even more adrenaline, would be Ayala's 2019 rivalry win over Chino Hills. The reason I'm going with the Mission Viejo Long Beach Poly game is not just that it was neck and neck, not just that it came down to the wire, and not just that it was won on a last minute Long Beach Poly touchdown. Just those things for sure, but just the heat, the atmosphere, the playoff feel, and the Division I quality of play by both teams all game long. And they each made their adjustments, nothing heavy, but some light adjustments, and then Poly just making a few more plays down the stretch. We talk about it all the time. Sometimes games just comes down to who made more plays, and that was one of them. But just quality of play. Man, that was a high level game.
Yeah, and the revenge factor too, Poly losing that game to Mission Viejo the year before, so they had to prove a point, and they did it. How about on the other side of things, Lance? That was the best game. What about the best individual performance you've seen so far this year?
I haven't seen any marquee crazy stat line. I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. Performances, I've seen a lot of good ones. I haven't seen anything eye-popping. I'm going to go with last week Rancho Cucamonga's passing game, specifically wide receiver Jonah Dawson and the freshman quarterback Jacob Chambers filling in for their Boise State 3-star quarterback CJ Tiller. Dawson had 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 98-yarder. And was picking up so much yards after contact. For Chambers, it was his starting debut, and against Vista Murrieta, not exactly a slouch team, and they were up 39-7 with a few minutes left, ended up being 39-21. But that's one of those where, it's in the film. You just got to see the film, see the highlights, and be like, oh, I see why that is, because not crazy numbers, but certainly as the season picks up, we're at the point kids are approaching mid-season form. More and more is on the line every week. So I do think in the coming weeks, I'll be treated to some more statistically crazy performances as we're used to seeing a few of every year in person.
Yeah, for sure. And as the stakes get higher, that will be a lot of fun. We'll get you out of here with this, Lance. What's one bold Southern Section high school football prediction that you have at about the season's midpoint where we're at right now?
Yeah, so I'm going to go to something we were talking about earlier today on the podcast, and it's a little hard to make predictions about who I think is going to win who I think is going to win a given division when divisions are just projectable at this point. But here's my take. I think Division II is going to go to either Edison or Bishop Amat. I'm assuming one of them is going to be in Division I and the other one's going to be in Division II. If they both end up in Division I, my hot take moves down to Inglewood. But if not, I think if one of those two teams is in Division II, I think they're going to win the championship. And I don't do too much saying here's who's going to win the championship unless their name is Mater Dei or St. John Bosco heading into the 7th week of the season. So to get a hot take like that out of me, even if I had to diversify it among a couple teams there, that shows how confident I am in those couple teams. I think every year under the current playoff format, Division II is going to be, to a lot of people, the most interesting. We're only in the second year, COVID notwithstanding, of the playoff format, and I think that's something that's already really obvious. So that's definitely one of the most exciting things about the new Southern Section playoff format. Division II is a dogfight that, for probably 40 states out there, would outclass their state championship. It's that amazing of a field, in addition to all the other divisions in the Southern Section. So that Division II race is going to be awesome, but keep your eyes out for Edison and Bishop Amat, and after them, Inglewood.
All right, you heard it here first. Thank you so much, Lance. Really appreciate your time. Let's throw it now to our featured boys water polo match of the week. We got Miracosta against Loyola.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it. It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
It's time for Coach's Corner here with Brentwood School football coach Jake Ford. Coach, you guys are off to a 5-1 start. You got to be really happy with how your group's performed through the first 6 weeks. How would you characterize where your team's at through 6 weeks?
I would say it's been a gutty performance. We only have 5 seniors on our football team, so we're junior and sophomore heavy, and to be performing the way that we are says a lot about the work that they've put in. Last year we were sophomore heavy, and so those guys got a lot of experience. We paid our dues last year, and this year we're finally reaping those benefits,
In years past, the playoff situation in the Gold Coast League's been a little tricky with 2 teams getting the auto bids, and you were not one of those teams. This year it's different. You have a real chance to win the league. How exciting is that for this group, a real chance at an automatic berth for the playoffs?
So exciting. In the past, we had to just hope for an at-large berth. This year, you win 1 or 2 games in league, and you get a chance to play in the playoffs, which is the way it should be. And so it makes all of the league games that much more exciting too, right? Before we were just, the league games were kind of just to play them, right? They didn't have a whole lot of meaning, but this year it means what it should mean.
Who are some impact guys in your team who have helped you get off to this hot start?
Well, we lean on our quarterback, Boone Lourd. He's been a superstar for us. Started as a sophomore, and then now at junior year, he's doing great. We have kind of a surprise kid has been one of our running backs by the name of Cabral, who is an undersized kid but has the heart of a lion, right? And so he has been a big player for us. Our middle linebacker is our heart and soul of our team, Joe Bagley. Joe is going to go play football at Bates next year, but he kind of sets the tone for all of us. So those 3 guys are kind of who we lean on.
Great. And you mentioned you're young, but looking ahead to the season, it sounds like this is a group that will have a chance not only to make the playoffs, but to do some damage. Again, who knows what division you'll be in, and I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but you got to be excited about this core and what they could potentially do down the line.
Definitely excited about the potential, right? And so if we are successful in league, and we get divisioned in the right division, I think we got a chance, right? I think the tricky thing about the way they division now is that if you are too successful in the season, you rise up to a division that you may not belong in. So I'm hoping that it works out the way it should, and I think if we get in the playoffs, we got a real shot.
Let's rewind the clock back. So in 1989, you walk on at UCLA, played football there. What did you learn as a member of the Bruins program that has helped you to be a coach at the high school level?
Well, first of all, a lot of the drills and routine that we did at UCLA, I have implemented here. It just kind of got ingrained in me. I also learned about what it means to sacrifice. And being a walk-on, there's a lot of things that you have to give up. The freedom, hanging out with your friends at college, right? Seeing all of your friends do those things, and you have to kind of dedicate your time and energy to football. But the payoff is worth it for sure. And so bringing that here and explaining to the guys that the dedication and the time they put in the off season, in the spring, in the summer, will really pay off for them later if they trust, right? And so I think that's kind of what I bring from my time there.
What's been your favorite memory so far this season? 5-1 start through 6 games. I'm sure there's a lot, but favorite one.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've had a lot of good fun times this year. Every year we do a sleepover at the end of training camp in our auditorium here, and we have a great time doing that. They have a rookie show and we do all those things. But on the field, I have to admit, the beating Palisades is quite exciting. And so the guys really enjoy doing that. They all know each other. And so that game for us, even though it's a non-league game and really doesn't factor into playoffs, is really important for us. So that's a highlight for sure.
Yeah, rivalry game, of course. That's going to mean a little more. We'll get you out of here with this, Coach. What's one thing you want your group to improve on as you head into the postseason?
So I think focus and practice, like on Mondays and Tuesdays, especially after a big win, right? You come back on Monday and it's like, oh, okay, we feel good about ourselves, but really we can't think about the last week. We really have to think about our next opponent, and getting them to realize that football is week to week, and we need to focus again. And yes, we can enjoy a win on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but come back Monday, we have to be focused on our next opponent. So that has been a little bit of a challenge, but I hope that as we continue through the season, they mature and that becomes something that they can understand.
Great. Thank you so much, Coach. Let's throw it now to Claudette, who had the chance to catch up with Brentwood School quarterback Boone Lourd, this week's Student Athlete of the Week.
Thanks, Connor. Here with Boone Lourd, quarterback at Brentwood High School. You guys are 5-1 on the season, coming off of a win. How do you carry that momentum into your game this week?
I mean, we just got to play with the mentality that we're not satisfied. We just want to keep going. Every day we start the week off 0-0. No wins, no losses. We just want to keep going, keep the game plan. We're playing a different team this week, a lot of running. So in practice every day, we just got to keep our mindset focused and never lack off. And then, yeah, hopefully we can get this win.
What are your goals for the season?
I mean, first off, I really would love to keep only one loss on the board. And then other goals for me, I would really like to get above 3,000 yards, but hey, my teammates have been playing so well, so it's just having those guys on my side. It makes life so much better for me. So my goal, honestly, is to keep winning, keep the relationships with all my teammates, because the relationships are good right now. The team spirit's high, and we want to keep going. We want to keep winning. Get to the playoffs. Ideally, get to the championship and win it all. So, yeah, that's my goal.
Okay, so one thing that I saw, I think on your Twitter, is that you have a 3.86 GPA, which is very impressive. Yes. Seems like you have this student-athlete thing down to a science. How do you balance your academics and your athletics?
I mean, there's a reason why I'm called a student-athlete. I really just I never want to be too invested in one thing. I want to keep both things, but I can't be an athlete unless I'm a student. So I always want to keep my grades as high as I can, ideally above an A-, and sometimes it can be hard to balance them, but I got great teachers. I have a great community at the school I'm at, so just keeping those grades and that in the athletics on the same what's the word?
Scale? Par?
Same scale,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Right. What's your favorite subject in school?
Oh, I really like math, honestly. I like math and science, but math, I don't know, sometimes the subject kind of gives me a competitive attitude. I don't really know why, but I just, whenever
Competitor, that's why. You like to problem solve. That makes sense. What are your interests outside of football? Or is it just all ball?
No, it's definitely not all football. I mean, football, of course, is one thing I really love, but main interest, I'm a big sports fan. Love watching sports. And I think, let me think about that.
Just hanging out with family, going for jogs.
Yeah, I mean,
There's great hiking in this area.
I know. I wish I was a surfer, but no surfing for me. It's kind of all football, but I mean, the main thing that I love doing is just spending time with my friends and family. It's really what makes my life special. I have such a good crew around me, so.
Well, speaking of family, I know that your brother plays football at Texas.
Yes,
a really exciting year for them. Has he given you any advice as you kind of kick off this final chapter, if you will, of your high school career, your junior and your senior season?
His advice is just enjoy it all. Never be too, I don't know the word.
Don't take yourself too seriously, or
Never take myself too seriously and just enjoy it. I mean, I'm playing football with my best friends. Have a great coaching staff with me. I never want to get too annoyed or unsatisfied with my recruitment. Honestly, I just want to enjoy myself, have a good time with my friends, and I think if I do that, then everything will come to me. So yeah.
So let's talk about your recruitment. You have a couple offers: Arizona, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lane Kiffin. He seems like a hilarious guy. How has your recruitment process been so far?
I mean, on September 1st, it really got kicking off. So got to talk to some schools. I mean, went to the USC game 2 weeks ago. That was awesome. Been talking to Arizona. Cal's been sending me a bunch of stuff. Have a good relationship with that OC. LSU too. Love that QB coach, Coach Sloan. He's a great guy. And I went to a lot of camps over the summer. I went to Florida, Vanderbilt, this Sacramento State camp where all the Pac-12s are there. I went to, what else? I went to USC, and that's how I got in touch. I was in a group with Lincoln Riley, so that was freaking awesome. And he just showed me a lot of things. And after that, got to talk to them, and now I'm on their board, which is so unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, this season's been good. I've been talking to a bunch of Pac-12s, SECs, but just, yeah, right now I want to focus on the season, then after that, all that will come. So, yeah, it's been good, though.
Are you hoping to take any visits soon?
Yes, I really would love to visit LSU. Virginia invited me to their game. Really want to go down there. I've heard that place is awesome. Want to get down to Tennessee also. Yeah, they've been sending me some stuff, so that would be an awesome place to go to. Really want to head up to Cal. That'd be so great. And then, yeah, a bunch of more, but it's one on the top of my mind.
Yeah, is there any draw for you to want to stay on the West Coast, just being that you're a Southern California guy?
I mean, I love the West Coast. It's my home. I love being here, and if I got the opportunity to stay here, it'd be hard to pass up. It's been my home. I know what it's like being here. I know the weather. I know all that stuff. But I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to going down south or to the east side. But I mean, the West Coast, there's not a lot better. So really love that.
Love it. Boone, thanks so much, and best of luck this week.
Of course. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
That's all from Brentwood School. What a beautiful campus, Claudette, and it was awesome to catch up with Coach Ford and Boone Lourd.
Those were great interviews. And that is a wrap for this week's episode of Southern Section this week. Thanks so much to all of you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.